Talksport and Talk Radio.
Got something tremendous coming up a little later on in the show. I came across a social media account today called Game Jam HD. It's a YouTube channel that we've got accounts on various social medias, and I had a little bit of a nosy around it. And the guy that runs it is a guy called Glenn. He's a Blackpool fan, big Blackpool fan, and he set up this channel mainly to get a lot of Blackpool stuff off his chest. I think he does a bit of like computer gaming on this channel, like FIFA and all that type of stuff. But he also is a talented musician, is this kid, and he's created a Christmas song. He's reworked a Christmas song, let's just say that. And he's taken all the lyrics of the Christmas song out and replaced it with the names of footballers. It's absolutely outstanding. Feed the World has become Riedlerberg. It's brilliant. Honestly, it's really good. And we're going to give you an opportunity to listen to that later on. We're also going to be speaking to him too, so make sure you stick around. You've seen it, haven't you? You've actually watched the video of it. I think the video makes it even better. So it's going to be interesting to see if you only listen to it tonight via the radio. It's going to be interesting to see whether it translates, because the video's brilliant, because he does it with pictures and everything.
I think you have to watch it, if I'm honest. I mean, after you've listened to it, go ahead and watch it, because actually it's quite difficult to keep track of all the names that he's mentioning when you just hear it. But obviously, if you see it, he's got pictures of them, and all the names flash up as well of all the pictures.
It's really
so it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's brilliant. It put a smile on your face at this Christmas
there
time.
You go. So he's coming up later on in the show, and I'll put all the links on my social media so you can go and have a little bit of a nosy.
Simulcast across the UK. Extra Time with Adam Cattrall on Talksport and Talk Radio.
You listen to Talksport Extra Time. Hope you're well. Something a little bit different now. It's always good to get fans of clubs on. I think anybody that listens to this show on a regular basis knows full well that my allegiance is to the lower leagues of football, and it's good to get fans on of clubs that are not necessarily represented in the Premier League. It's always good to get someone on as well that not only supports a lower league club, but also has a little bit of a talent, and therefore is creating content in the footballing world that I'm sure that you are 100% going to appreciate. I'm going to introduce you now to a geezer called Glenn. Glenn runs a YouTube channel called Game Jam HD. You can get him on all social medias underneath that handle as well. Game Jam HD. That's the handle. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Go and have a bit of a check of his stuff, because you're going to love it. We're going to play you something in a minute that he's created. Glenn, welcome to the show. How are you, mate?
Hi, Adam. Really well, thank you. Looking forward to Christmas. Exciting time. It's freezing cold, though, up here in Blackpool, so I'm all good, though.
Well, there you go. You're giving away the geography, mate. You are a Blackpool fan through and through, thick and thick, through all the Oyston stuff and all this carry-on that's going on up there at this moment in time. What's basically the lay of the land at the moment up at Bloomfield Road?
Well, I have to be quite careful about what I say.
No, you don't. No, you don't. This is my show. You can do what you want, mate. Go for it.
Well, fans in the past have been sued to the sums of tens of thousands of pounds by the Oyston family for expressing their opinions, rightly or wrongly, on public forums. As it stands at the moment, based on a court case that happened in November, the Oystons have had to pay so far £10 million to a minority shareholder, Valerie Bellicon.
Yeah.
And there's going to be another, I believe, 25 million there or thereabouts over the next 4 or 5 months. Ideally, what we'd like as Blackpool fans, and I feel like I can speak for the entire society of Blackpool fans, is we just want our club being sold. I know Blackburn fans feel the same about the Venkies.
That's me, mate. That's where I'm at, brother.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think too many bridges have been burned. Too much water's gone under that bridge, and it's just time now. It's gone too far. It's a lot of what is being done is done out of spite, and there's a lot of it's gone from frustration to anger, and there's been numerous protests been set up against them, and it's just not a nice. It's just you support your club. You cut yourself open, you bleed tangerine, but unfortunately, the boycott that's been happening over the last couple of years now, NAPM, not a penny more.
Yeah.
And you look at the attendance at games, and we're told it's into the thousands. Realistically, it's probably the high hundreds, and it's frustrating.
Do you go on any of the away games? I mean, me as a Blackburn fan, mate, I only do the aways now, really. Just, but like you say, that not a penny more type stuff. There's a few of us like that don't pay to go on Ewood anymore, but we'll go on the away games.
Yeah. I've been to a couple of away games. I was at Fleetwood, Blackpool.
Local derby, proper ding dong.
And do you know what? Do you know what's funny about it is that Andy Pilley, when he took over Fleetwood, I'm open to being standing corrected about this, but I don't even think they were a professional side. And he's put some money in, he's shown some ambition, he's gambled a little bit, and look at where they are. You know, they're on a par with Blackpool, who only 5-6 years ago were in the Premier League, had £90 million in the coffers, all that money's gone. So I personally, from my own perspective, have boycotted the club until we get new owners in, be that who they may.
Okay. You've obviously set up your YouTube channel, my friend, to obviously do some very creative things, which we're going to get onto in a minute. But I'm assuming that you're on there as well, getting all the angst off your chest when it comes to Blackpool Football Club. Originally,
it wasn't set up with that intention. I'll be honest with you. I've always been a bit of a disgruntled Blackpool fan. Since I've been alive, to be honest. It's always been a bone of contention with me and a lot of fans, but I feel like involuntarily, I suppose, that I've become quite a symbolic person in this whole saga because of the amount of exposure that my videos get to. I feel like there's a responsibility from myself.
Yeah, man.
A lot of the viewers are either, I mean, there's a lot of foreign viewers on there, so people who Barcelona, Real Madrid, whether they're from France, from Germany. There's a hell of a lot of people who support Premier League clubs. Yeah. And as you said rightly at the start, you know, a lot of them don't understand what's going on at the grassroots of football. And so I feel like it's my responsibility, even though there is a risk involved with voicing that opinion based on what has happened to other fans. I believe it's my responsibility to express from my opinion, and I think that's important to note that all of this is of my opinion. I mean, if it was to be put on the record that the Oystons have done this or said this, then there's no doubt I'll get a letter from the post tomorrow from solicitors. So we all have to be really careful about what we say. However, from an opinionated perspective of a football fan who loves the game, who's had his clubs taken away from him, then I do feel there's a responsibility. But the channel was never set up with that intention. But it's beautiful to see Blackpool fans, especially younger fans, who come and talk to me, who express their opinions about the club, and I feel like it's just nice that there's an outlet, you know, that someone can actually describe without fear of persecution what they actually see happening at a club and its decline.
Well, I love it. I love YouTube, podcasting, these new formats for fans to be able to get things off their chest. They're creating new communities, and I think it brings fans, without sounding cheesy, a little bit closer together if it's not bringing them closer to the club, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I kind of like all that. And so what you're doing on Game Jam HD, we doth our capture, and it's nice to shed a little bit of a light onto it, because you're doing, not only, obviously, I know there'll be people listening who aren't Blackpool fans and probably don't give two pennies about what's going on at Blackpool. Same with when I rant on about Blackburn, they don't care about it really. However, it's not just about Blackpool, your channel, mate. You're doing some other stuff on there, and that's really why you're on the show, because you came to my attention today on social media, having created something very festive. We're in that season now. Everybody's ready for the mince pies and the mulled wine and what have you, and you've created something which is brilliant. We're going to get to that in a minute, but what else? What other stuff can people get on your channel? Because a lot of people are consuming their stuff now on tablets and on their phones, and they're going to YouTube for content. What can they get from Game Jam HD on a week-to-week basis, mate?
Well, it's interesting that you say about it bringing people closer together, because if you look at the demographics of where most people are spending their time now, it's all on social media, and so in a way I have a more pertinent route to market and a more intense message to get through to people who have an interest in it than the kind of, with all due respect, older forms of media, be it newspapers, etc., etc. It's really interesting. The FA are really pushing right now this idea of getting young people involved in football. They used to say that 80% of children's first contact with football was either through kids playing in the street or going to the game with their dad or whatever it is. Now, 80% roughly is through either FIFA, the video game, or through YouTube.
Wow.
So they're really pushing on this now. So that kind of brings me back to your question. Originally, this was about 2 or 3 years ago, I had a daughter, and I didn't want to kind of be the dad who goes to work at 7 in the morning, gets home at 6, and just misses out on their lives. So I had a little business going on, and I thought, well, what can I do to kind of, you know, make content or make a business in my own time. And I saw this guy called Spencer FC, actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with stuff. Go on, carry on. Yeah.
So I saw him and I thought, I can do that. In the background for the last 10, 15 years, I've been a musician. So I lived in London. I've toured the world, done a lot of tours with music, wrote a lot of music, produced a lot of music, been really heavily involved in music. And it seemed like the perfect time, like I say, 2-3 years ago, to kind of follow this love for football. I mean, if you saw me, you'd realise I'm massively out of shape. I could never play football.
As we all are, my friend. Why do you think I work on the radio?
You said the word mince pies and my ears pricked up. Jose's not picking up the phone. So anyway, I actually started doing FIFA. I started doing the channel was FIFA. There's still a lot of FIFA stuff goes out on there now.
Yeah.
Purely because so many people are involved in it. It's one of the biggest selling game series of all time.
Yeah.
And as time went on, I thought, well, this is great, but between, say, March time and September, like the game comes out in September, so there's hype about it until March time. After March, it's dead.
Yeah.
And no one's interested in it. So what can you do? And I suddenly thought, well, maybe I could write some songs. And the first real hit, per se, that I had over 1 million views was it was Lionel Messi got done for tax evasion.
Yeah.
So I did It Wasn't Me, getting done for tax evasion. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
I'm just a talented Caucasian. So I did that, and Lad Bible picked up on it, Unilad picked up on it, Football Republic, Sport, all of these massive pages said this is really good. Unfortunately, nobody knew that it was me that did it because I didn't put any branding or anything.
Oh, you clown. What are you playing at, man?
I know. It's the most expensive lesson I've ever learned, right? But that kind of taught me that there's something to this. There's something in this, idea of mixing the football and the music. And from there, it's taken many different guises and many different elements. But the soap opera of football constantly provides content and funny stories. It's like EastEnders. So there's always something fun to write about.
Okay. For people listening to the show now, I'm going to play you what he's created for Christmas. It's absolutely brilliant. Basically, the premise is that it's a popular Christmas song. I'm not going to give too much away about the Christmas song. You can do that for yourself in a minute. But it's a popular Christmas song, and you've eradicated all the lyrics, and you've replaced them with footballers' names. There's no other words in this song other than a footballer's name. Now, some of them are retro footballers, which made me absolutely wet myself that you managed to get them into this particular song. But there's current guys in there. There's domestic players. There's international players. Every man and his dog has managed to get their way into this particular song. Mate, this must have took you ages just to create or find the names of players that had the right syllables, the right soundings, which were similar to the original lyrics. It really is brilliant, and I'm sure people are going to love it in a minute. But it must have took you a bit of time to go through all the players' names to create this. Yeah,
it took total, I'd say, I had it pretty much down in 24 hours. However, there was another one I did, which was Ed Sheeran, A Shape of You, with 238 football players in it.
Wow.
That one took much, much longer. The time-consuming thing isn't necessarily finding the players' names to go along with the syllables of the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's going on to Google, finding a decent image of the player, downloading it, and then cutting everything up so that it all kind of fits together.
Yeah, because that adds to the comedy as well. I mean, I've retweeted from your social media accounts. People go and have a bit of a nosy at this, or even just go and check him out, Game Jam HD, because the video's on your YouTube channel, and that adds to the comedy. Just a flick of the picture, it kind of adds nicely. By the way, a wonderful picture of Henning Berg and Lars Boheen and me being a Blackburn fan. So well done, you, mate.
Thank you.
No, fantastic. Well, let's get into it, right? So, why this particular song? Obviously, we know why you're doing it for this time of year, but why did you choose this particular Christmas tune?
All I Want for Christmas Is You is too high. Anything sung by a woman is pretty much too high.
So Mariah's out the door. Go on, swing her up.
Yeah, Mariah's gone. Mary's Boy Child's out the window. It's just a classic, innit? It is just a classic song. I was toying between Last Christmas and this one. And I kind of felt like this is the only song that I've ever done that has multiple singers in it.
Yeah.
So it starts off, I can't remember. You know what? Now I'm on the spot. I can't remember who sang it. But the various different elements of it. Bono's in there and Sting's in there and all these people are in there.
Beautiful.
And I kind of thought, can I try to some extent to replicate like the tonality of their voice? So like George Michael has a really rich really rich bluesy toneful voice, and Sting's kind of high and a little bit karaoke.
Yeah.
And the challenge of that, looking at that, going, can I do that? Like when Bono says, "Tonight, thank God it's them instead of you," can I do that? And it's just classic. That as soon as you hear them drums and that bell, on the 2nd of December when you're walking through your local shopping precinct and you hear that, you're like, "Blooming heck, it's not far from Christmas now, is it?"
Game on, mate. It's game on, yeah.
Exactly.
Feed the World is now been renamed Riedlerberg. It's absolutely brilliant. It really is. Now listen, we're going to crack on. Glenn, let's get this tune on, right? This is brilliant. This is Glenn's creation. Please go and check him out on all social medias and his YouTube channel, Game Jam HD. That's the name of the channel. Go and check it out. You can find loads of stuff like this. This is 119 players in a Christmas song.
Dick's Frimpong Klein, Lennon Reed, Rully de Pay, Atsu Devry, me Ellen Knight, Agaban and Gray, Aguila Verna Hendry, feeling yet a wise to hold. Boy, you love for down and burn, Douglas right, but by the chair, hey, it's early gonna war, Asprey and Stein, lingered, schlap, when down, Gavin Dawn, tears our prize, I believe you, Akita Zerkov, Perry Weir, Reddy Tony Zuma, Boeing, is the Dieter Stindl Weir, Miranda Mitchell, Bell, Rickon, Ada Angie, Violet Boom, getting that bloody stale, Eddie Cool, Mango, Bicol, Gignac, Zikla, Garrick, and Night, the great of Tisdale, Ellis, Gilbert, Ride, oh, Maybrook in Ever Rose, Cole Painter, Ronaldo, Dudek, Bowles, Gitters, and Redo, Edu, Razor, Pastor, Alaba, Burkham, Bear, Casandiga, Gantuna, Moonyear, Rolling, Kinsterham, and Read the word, Stevens word, read the word, Mendoza, Greeno, Steiner, Stevens word, Gomez, Ronald Steiner, read the word, Mendoza, Greeno, Steiner, Stevens word, Gomez, Ronald
Get ready for more on Talksport with Betfair.
At Adam Catterall on Twitter. Go to that account now. I have put the link on to the YouTube video. It's even better when you watch that song because of the clips that he's put into it. He's absolutely brilliant. Go and check his YouTube channel out, Game Jam HD. Hopefully we'll have him on in the new year doing some more ridiculous tunes. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Dan Dawson's going to be with me in a minute talking darts. Keep your guesses coming for the